Well, this morning's vote is just really another example of how out of step Republicans in Congress are with the struggles of all of our American families today. In fact, it makes me wonder just who they are listening to when they're not here in Washington, D.C., because what I hear from families at home is I hear about sequestration and the fact that a lot of people who are working today can't afford furloughs and smaller paychecks. I hear from a lot of people who do not understand why we're being blocked from even being able to sit down and have a conversation about a budget compromise. I hear from businesses who say the absolute last thing they want to see is another manufactured crisis here in this country. And I hear from parents and students who want a shot at higher education, but who don't want to live with the burden of the debt they'll never be able to pay. What we put forward today was a perfectly sensible solution to help address the problem. And the bill that I joined with Senators Reid and Senator Harkin on said, let's keep these rates low where they are today so that students and parents have some certainty over the next 2 years. And let's use those next 2 years to rethink our student financial aid system so we do have a reliable, affordable way for students to access the funding they need to go to school. Let's protect those 7 million college students from seeing their interest rate double in just a matter of weeks. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but apparently not for Republicans. Unbelievably, their idea is for students to pay more and for those extra dollars to go straight for deficit reduction. Frankly, I think that provides a great window into their priorities when it comes to balancing the budget. They want higher student loan rates to pay for $16 billion in deficit reduction, but they refuse to ask oil companies to pay a dime more to reduce the deficit. They want a bill that asks our low-income students to face the biggest of an increased cost, but they blocked our bill because it calls for ending the use of offshore tax havens. They fight tooth and nail against tax hikes for those who can afford to pay more, but their refusal to negotiate on this issue will lead to a $1,000 tax hike on low-income students. You know, I bet everyone in this room knows a family member or someone they know, and like Dick, I went to college on student loans, and I know so many kids today and families and people in their 40s who are up to their necks in student debt. This is really a weight on them that helps us from growing the economy. It hurts them and their families, and it is a weight that's not easily shed. So we can't do this to the next generation of college students or the generation after that. We have to remove these barriers to education, not erect new ones, and we only have a few weeks left. I know students and parents are going to be making their voices heard over the next few weeks. We stand ready to work with them. But before I turn it back over to the Majority Leader, I just want to add one thing in response to comments that Speaker Boehner apparently made just a few minutes ago about the House Appropriations Bill, in which he said that Chairman Ryan and I were engaged in, quote, regular order conversations that were, quote, delicate. There's nothing regular order about them, and there certainly isn't anything delicate about them. There isn't even anything undelicate about them. I want to go to conference. That's what regular order is. It is the next step. That is how we will get to a bipartisan budget as quickly as possible. Republicans are refusing to allow us to go to conference for one reason, and that's because they want to force a manufactured crisis over the debt limit this fall, because they think it will give them leverage. And you don't have to take my word for it. Chairman Ryan said, and I quote, "The moves I'm making and the decisions I'm making are to try and maximize the chance of success in the fall." So let's be clear about which side is reckless today. Democrats want to get to work right now. We understand that a conference is about compromise. We understand that that's what we need to do to solve the Americans' foremost problem of what our budget is and what our priorities are and how we're going to pay for it. And we ask Republicans to join us.